Namaste, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are.
Namaste, Kumar.
Good morning.
Namaste, Morgan.
Good morning.
Now, Purna, let's get started. Please take a deep breath. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
So, Purna, you can go ahead, please.
Yeah. योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचां मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि आबाहुपुरुषाकारं शङ्खचक्रासिधारिणं सहस्रशिरसं श्वेतं प्रणमामि पतञ्जलिं श्रीमते अनन्ताय नागराजाय नमो नमः। अथ विभूतिपादः देशबन्धः चित्तस्य धारणा तत्र प्रत्ययैकता नता ध्यानं तदेव अर्थमात्रनिर्भासं स्वरूपशून्यमिव समाधिः। त्रयमेकत्र संयमः तच्चयात् प्रज्ञालोकः तस्य भूमिषु विनियोगः त्रयमन्तरङ्गं पूर्वेभ्यः तदपि बहिरङ्गं निर्बीजस्य व्युत्थाननिरोधसंस्कारयोः अभिभवप्रादुर्भावौ निरोधक्षणचित्तान्वयो निरोधपरिणामः तस्य प्रशान्तवाहिता संस्कारात् सर्वार्थतैकाग्रतयोः क्षयोदयौ चित्तस्य समाधिपरिणामः ततः पुनः शान्तोदितौ तुल्यप्रत्ययौ चित्तस्य एकाग्रतापरिणामः। एतेन भूतेन्द्रियेषु धर्मलक्षण अवस्था परिणामाः व्याख्याताः। शान्त उदित अव्यपदेश्य धर्मानुपाती धर्मी क्रमान्यत्वं परिणामान्यत्वे हेतुः परिणामत्रयसंयमात् अतीतानागतज्ञानं शब्दार्थप्रत्ययानाम् इतरेतराध्यासात् संकरः तत्प्रविभागसंयमात् सर्वभूतऋतज्ञानं संस्कारसाक्षात्करणात् पूर्वजातिज्ञानं प्रत्ययस्य परचित्तज्ञानं न च तत्सालम्बनं तस्याविषयीभूतत्वात् कायरूपसंयमात् तत्ग्राह्यशक्तिस्तम्भे चक्षुः प्रकाशासंप्रयोगे अन्तर्धानं सोपक्रमं निरुपक्रमञ्च कर्म तत्संयमात् अपरान्तज्ञानम् अरिष्टेभ्यो वा मैत्र्यादिषु बलानि बलेषु हस्तिबलादीनि प्रवृत्त्यलोकान्यासात् सूक्ष्मः व्यवहित विप्रकृष्टज्ञानं भुवनज्ञानं सूर्ये संयमात् चन्द्रे ताराव्यूहज्ञानं ध्रुवे तत्कतिज्ञानं नाभिचक्रे कायव्यूहज्ञानं कण्ठकूपे क्षुत्पिपासानिवृत्तिः कूर्मनाड्यां स्थैर्यं मूर्धज्योतिषि सिद्धदर्शनं प्रातिभाद्वा सर्वं हृदये चित्तसंवित् सत्त्वपुरुषयोः अत्यन्तासङ्कीर्णयोः प्रत्ययाविशेषो भोगः परार्थत्वात् स्वार्थसंयमात् पुरुषज्ञानं ततः प्रातिभश्रावणवेदन आदर्श आस्वादवार्ता जायन्ते ते समाधावुपसर्गाः व्युत्थाने सिद्धयः बन्धकारणशैथिल्यात् परा प्रचारसंवेदना च चित्तस्य परशरीरावेशः उदानजयात् जलपङ्ककण्टकादिषु असङ्गः उत्क्रान्तिश्च समानजयात् ज्वलनं श्रोत्राकाशयोः सम्बन्धसंयमात् दिव्यं श्रोत्रं कायाकाशयोः सम्बन्धसंयमात् लघुतूलसमापत्तेश्च आकाशगमनं बहिरकल्पिता वृत्तिः महाविदेहा ततः प्रकाशावर्णक्षयः स्थूल स्वरूप सूक्ष्म अन्वय अर्थवत्वसंयमात् भूतजयः ततोऽणिमादिप्रादुर्भावः कायसम्पत् तद्धर्मानभिघातश्च रूप लावण्य बल वज्रसंहननत्वानि कायसम्पत् ग्रहण स्वरूप अस्मिता अन्वय अर्थवत्वसंयमात् इन्द्रियजयः ततो मनोजवित्वं विकरणभावः प्रधानजयश्च सत्त्वपुरुष अन्यताख्यातिमात्रस्य सर्वाभाद्वाधिष्ठातृत्वं सर्वज्ञातृत्वञ्च तद्वैराग्यादपि दोषबीजक्षये कैवल्यम् स्यान्युपनिमन्त्रणे सङ्गस्मयाकरणं पुनरनिष्टप्रसङ्गात् क्षणतत्क्रमयोः संयमात् विवेकजं ज्ञानम् जातिलक्षणदेशैः अन्यता अनवच्छेदात् तुल्ययोः ततः प्रतिपत्तिः तारकं सर्वविषयं सर्वथा विषयम् अक्रमञ्चेति विवेकजं ज्ञानं सत्त्वपुरुषयोः शुद्धिसाम्ये कैवल्यम्.
Thank you, Kranti. Okay. So last week we completed chapter 3, the Vibhuti Pata. So, but we did, I think, 4 or 5 sutras. So let's review those 4 or 5. And then let's see where we go from there. This is where we stopped. We started last week.
52.
Yeah. Sthani Upanimantrine Sangha Smaya Karanam Punaha Anishta Prasangat. So, what we saw here is in association with this is the summary which is in association with the special limitation from an entity in higher position, the instrument of pride can raise the possibility of establishing another unwanted association by losing the freedom in isolation. Meaning, even though the previous sutra, it says, let's go back there. That's a sutra which says in Kaivalyam, Tat Vairagyat api dosha bija kshaye Kaivalyam. That is, having that Vairagyam, the detachment. What was the detachment that he talked about? The previous sutra, 50. That is by knowing particularly that Sattva Purusha is another entity. One gets control over every orientation and knows everything. So, in the earlier sutra, he is saying that knowing Sattva Purusha is another entity. We are not Sattva Purusha. We have connectivity to Sattva Purusha. That's all. So, fully understanding that, experiencing it, one gets control over every orientation. We know all that. Because through Samyama, we can get whatever we need from that source. Because Tatra Niratishyam Sarvajna Tattva Bijam. Or the source of the every wisdom, the source of all knowledge, the source of all wisdom is in Ishvara. That's what we know. So, understanding that Sattva Purusha is another entity, we get control over everything. Here in 51, he says, because of the detachment towards that ability to control everything. So, that is what the sutra here is saying in the later part, dosha bija kshaye. That is, this dosha, this impurity of thinking, oh, I have control over everything. That is the dosha, kshaye. When that falls off, when that wears off, then you are in the state of kaivalya. So, following that is the next sutra 52. That's how you link it. So you are in the state of kaivalyam, but still, when there is an invitation, we saw that, you get attached to some devas or whatever because you have the ability to talk to anybody, disembodied or embodied or whatever. So you can get carried away, thinking that, oh, I can do everything. So it's a warning right there. He says in a special invitation from an entity in higher position. Higher position means higher position spiritually than me, which I would say Deva. The instrument of pride can raise the possibility of establishing another unwanted association by losing the freedom in isolation. Okay. Any questions here? So, Sutra 53 says, it's a simple sutra, meaning by samyama on single moments, that is moment to moment, you can make samyama and their sequence over time to the past things comes discriminative knowledge. So you can have samyama on events that past events, and through that you can get that discriminative knowledge. That prajna, whatever information. That I think I gave an example as how if you have any bodily issues, you can go back in time and see from when it started by doing the samyama. I said this is what Dr. Rajan does when he treats patients. Then, jati lakshana desahi Anyata anavacheda tulyayoho tatah pratipattihi. We saw this new state pratipattihi. So, so he says that by which one is able to compare when otherwise there is no distinguishing birth characteristics, observed indicators. So there we saw all this. Lakshana is the indicators, desha or location differences is pratipatti. So even without any kind of indicators and things like that, you can get knowledge of you can get knowledge of things that how it was yesterday, how it was day before yesterday, etc. That's what it is saying. That is the all this information can flow from above on doing the samyama. So then the last two sutras, Tarakam sarva vishayam sarvada vishayam akramam cha iti vivekajam jnanam. So this knowledge, that is vivekajam jnanam, this knowledge is born of discriminating intellect and is a great deliverer, Tarakam. With knowledge of all subject matter, that is sarva vishayam. You get access to all knowledge all the time, sarvada vishayam, all the time, irrespective of sequence of matter or time. So we are in a very, very high state of connectivity, and every kind of samyama, the knowledge is pouring, wisdom is pouring. And now he says, Sattva Purushayoho Shuddhi Samye Kaivalyam iti. The purity equal to Sattva Purusha. So is freedom in isolation. So we have reached that state where our purity is that of Sattva Purusha. That is of Ishvara. That means the entire samskara has been completely burnt out, completely demagnetized, that part. So there is no chance of falling off from this state. We saw all this. We even read this last week. Any questions? Any questions, anyone? Everyone is clear?
Yes, Kumar, we are fine with that. Yeah.
Okay. So there are, we used to have this joke when I think we were in MIT, in engineering college. Clear. If clear for everyone, we'll say, we'll nod our head. And then on the side, we will be laughing, saying, everything, whatever was there is cleared out. There is. So, I leave it to you to decide what this clear means. I meant clarity of what we have discussed. So, before, I'm not sure whether we want to do the review of the entire chapter. You want to do a review of the entire chapter? Or in bits and pieces? So think about it. As you think about it, I will introduce to you the next chapter, the last and final chapter. So in Vibhuti Pada,
I can suggest something, Kumar, before you start.
yeah.
One good way for us to actually, so the thing is, we need to connect the sutras
Yes.
to some questions you ask. So those, whatever we are doing on the WhatsApp, no,
Yes.
Something like that, if you can think of some question to ask us, and then see how to connect, say, 2-3 sutras across the 3 chapters which we have learned. That will settle the understanding better, I think, than just doing chapter by chapter revision.
True. That we can do. For now, we can do 1, 2, 3, right? So once we complete 4, we can do all 4 together. But the thing is, most of the things that I'm posting is from my experience in life. Even this question that I am currently, I posted yesterday or day before, and then I kind of targeted a few people like Padma, Srilakshmi, Madhavi, Rajashree. Rajashree, she's not here. Okay. It's based on something that comes up in my life, and then I just put it. If I can get some feedback, questions, saying, "Oh, I faced this yesterday and I don't know why I faced this problem," then I can put it out. And I think I pointed to Mohan saying that if I didn't put the sutras, or by saying focus on these 2 sutras, I kind of avoided work for myself. Otherwise, everyone will be all over the place. And then I have to explain why this sutra is not applicable, that sutra is not applicable, etc. So, anyway, it's a technique one has to learn. And in a class, you can only do so much, correct? So, I need the help of all of you. If you want to go deeper and deeper, then post some questions from your personal life. You don't have to give names. You can put XYZ, ABC. I was talking to ABC and this came up. Make it as general as possible, so that because we don't want somebody guessing, oh, this is really Usha's sister asked this question, those kinds of things. If you don't care, that's fine, no problem. But if you care about all those things, then be a bit careful in how you frame your questions or experience. If you provide that kind of information to me, I can kind of filter it out and then reword it correctly in a way that it can be a assignment. Make sense?
Yes,
I'm kicking the ball back to all of you.
I can see that.
I've started doing that for some time now. When Madhavi asks questions, I say, go and do the research and tell me.
That's usually learned and executed very well in a corporate context. Anything comes in your inbox, it should be in your outbox at the earliest.
Yes. And my CEO is telling me, do that. And we have covered 3 padas. So we are equipped with that knowledge. We are equipped with that wisdom. That's why I kick it back. Okay, go do this. I'm not going to give you the answer. So answer giving has stopped long back. I don't give answers. Because only in that pondering, only in that thinking, you're going to get that clarity. For everything, if I give the answer, oh, it's very simple. And then you will never learn. See, for me, I also started like that. For everything, I will send a question to Dr. Rajan. And then he will send me 1 or 2 lines. And generally, he is very, very cryptic. He will just say one word. I give a lot of information. It's not that he wouldn't give information. He will just send one or 2 words. That's it. And then I have to look through, and in that process, I learned slowly. And after some time, I didn't have to ask him questions. I could do it myself. He helped me with that. So, though it was initially it was tough for me, uh, um, then now that with all of you, I know at some point of time you got to think on your own. So I'm trying to lead you into that area without suddenly dropping all of you and saying, "Oh, do it yourself." Okay, enough explanation as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay. So in Kaivalya Pada, as the name indicates, so we are going to discuss about Kaivalya, or at least we are going to end again with Kaivalya. Now we have understood in chapter 3 what this Kaivalyam is, correct? We all have a basic understanding of what Kaivalyam is. So in the 4th chapter, he is going to give some more details. But the nice thing is, in the first 3 chapters, it has been about what we have to do, right? So many practices, yama, niyama, and all that. Asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, do this, sit like that, do this practice. And then in yama, we have 5 items, right? Ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. So we said there are 5 things that you have to follow. Those should be your values. And then in niyama, what are the things that you have to do on a daily basis? Shaucha, santosha, tapaha, swadhyaya, ishvara pranidhana, all those 5 things. And then you have pranayama, and then you have asana, pranayama, then pratyahara, that is getting control of the vibrations or the sense organs. And then these were covered in chapter 2 in Sadhana Pada. In the Vibhuti Pada, and we call these as Bahiranga Yoga because they're all externally related to the external world, external aspects. Then in chapter 3, Vibhuti Pada, the first half of the chapter, he dealt with the other 3 aspects. That is Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, because these are all completely internal. And then we also spoke about the Samyama process. It is starting with Dharana, seamlessly getting into Dhyana state, and from there, seamlessly getting into the state of Samadhi. You saw that. And then as part of this, and we call this 3, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, as Samyama. And then we said, you could also do a Samyama on the answer that you get, right? Like a recursive thing. And we said when the answers come, they also come in 3 ways. Dharma, Lakshana, Avastha. We have these 3. These 3 characteristics are there. Dharma, Lakshana, Avastha. Is all that. So with all this information and the practices that we are doing, he has given in the first 3 chapters what are all the various things that one has to do, all the sadhanas, everything, especially in 2 and 3, chapters 2 and 3. Now in this chapter, in Kaivalya Pada, he is going to introduce to us the aspect of creation. the aspect of creation is going to discuss, which we have not dealt with yet. I mean, not in the way, not through the sutras, but here and there, little bit we have seen. So we are going to see what, how Prakriti gets involved in launching us. Those kinds of things we are going to see. And somewhere down the line, we are also going to see, especially for, I won't say, I don't want to be a sexist. We are going to see that gold or any precious material is the same as ash. The same as ash. Nothing different. You're going to see that with the scientifically, we are going to see. We are going to present a periodic table to show all the elements in nature. Some of you who attended earlier probably will remember this. And then we will say, then we will see that there is no difference. Okay. So people will probably stop going to jewelry shops, is my hope. And then finally, as we go through all this and understanding all these things, we will come to a point where he will say towards the end, there is nothing to be understood. All this understanding, all these sutras that I have given so far, maybe 180 sutras or so, at that point where he discussed that, is only to give you that clarity that you don't need anything. Meaning, you have to just flow with the cosmic flow. Just move along with the cosmic flow. If you do that, there is nothing to be known. Because whenever you need something, it is going to come. You will close your eyes and you will have a samyama, wanting to know what this is, and the answer comes. You don't have to refer to books. You don't have to refer to notes. You don't have to think very, very hard to extract that information that 3 years back somebody told you. None of that. So he is going to give us that sutra. And then finally, he is going to give, I think, 2 sutras at the very end. The last 2 sutras are going to be on the final release. That is, upon death, what happens? What happens to the chitta? Where it goes? What it does? Yes? So this is how the Kaivalya Pada, the last chapter, is going to flow. Any questions? Or is it Greek and Latin? Yes, Lavanya, you're smiling. Tell me.
No, it is not Greek and Latin. It's
Okay, good. Good, very good. I'm thrilled. Aranya,
Yes.
what is Greek and Latin, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, it is Greek and Latin, what I'm saying. Okay. All right. What about Madhavi?
It is not in Greek and Latin, sir.
It is Greek and Latin.
No. It is not in Greek and Latin. Sir.
Oh, it is not Greek and Latin.
Mhm.
It is chapati sabji.
Whatever you make, that is the what. Like in my home, whatever I make, it is. If you make sambar for 3 hours, that is all.
Very good. Okay.
What you were saying was not Greek and Latin, but the sutras completely of what, if I have understood, that is Greek and Latin for me. I have to still
What is Greek? Sorry, I didn't catch you. What is Greek and Latin for you?
this all the sutras, and completely if I understood everything, every meaning of all the sutras, then that is what I meant about. I'm still not having clarity on that. I have to still work.
Yeah, the clarity is not going to come unless there is sustained effort. Sa tu dirghakala nairantarya satkara sevito sridha bhumihi. Sutra number 14, chapter 1. Sa tu dirghakala. Long period of time. Long period. Dirghakala. Not 1 month, not 2 months, not 10 days. No. Dirghakala. Maybe years. Dirghakala. Nairantarya. Uninterrupted. Uninterrupted. I mean, you study for 2 days and then you close the book and then come back after 1 month, it's all gone. Sri Lakshmi, this is for you. Nairantarya. Dirghakala Nairantarya Satkara Sevito. Satkara means sattvic. With that kara is doing. With that complete understanding that with that happiness, with that thrill, with that excitement of wanting to know. How you want to know what happened to X, what happened to Y, especially within the family. It must be much, much greater than that. All those things should fall off. Satkara sevito dhrida bhumihi. Then it becomes firmly established. Okay, so unless we do this on a consistent basis, spend time, and most of the complaints is, oh, I mean, I'm so busy, I have children, I have this, I have work. Yes, I'm not denying that. You have to apply it in your daily life. I have given many examples how I do it. So I'm also grahastha. I also have work to do. I also have to go to the grocery store. I also have to make food. But how to do it? How to constantly be aware of Ishvara in every aspect of life. I also have to drive the car. I also have to talk to people like Saranya. So how to do it? You have to apply the sutras when you do all these activities. So spirituality and daily life are not two completely different things. They are one inside the other. But at the same time, it has to be done with a sense of detachment. The moment I use that word detachment, everybody hits it. So that's why now and then I put in parenthesis moderation. Somehow that, I don't know why you have developed that kind of hate for that word detachment. I've explained this many times in the class. Detachment is not going and leaving the entire family, leaving everything, and being indifferent to everyone. No, it's not that. It's completely opposite to that. That is detachment, where you are loving to everyone at all times, with no expectations of anyone. Lavanya, this is for you, with no expectations from anyone of any kind. So when you do that on a regular basis, the clarity will come. I also didn't have clarity until 2020. How did it come? When I had this problem and I posed this problem to Dr. Rajan in 2020, this is the problem I have. He spoke to me for a few minutes, maybe 10-15 minutes. And out of those 10-15 minutes, the last 2-3 minutes, he said, Kumar, this is what you have to do. You have to detach yourself from that relationship. That's all he said. Nothing more, nothing less. You have to understand that person doesn't want you temporarily or permanently, we don't know. At this point of time, the person doesn't want you in their life. Accept that. Accept that. And detach yourself. And it was not easy. I'm not saying it was easy by any means. It was not easy. It took me a few months. Maybe 2-3 months. And then slowly I started detaching. And within 6 months, I was just fine. And even today, that problem exists. That problem is not resolved. It exists. But I have no problem. So this detachment to events, to people, the food we eat, where we go, what we do, it has to be there everywhere. I cannot get, the moment my daughter calls and says, oh, the young one, your granddaughter is having fever. I should not get fever here. Or I should not drop everything and run. Yeah, if they request help, and if I can, based on all the other things that I have on my hand, only then I will go. I won't drop everything and run. It's not an emergency. The child getting a fever is a normal thing. Yeah, it will have fever for 3-4 days and it will recover. The child will recover. And calling every 2 hours, how is the child doing? How is the child doing? That is attachment. So these are all things that you have to implement. Unless you think, you are not going to understand what is detachment or moderation. Would you call your children 10 times a day? Would you call that moderation? So you have to think. Even if it is an emergency, let us say, you calling 10 times, is it anyway going to help the child recover? Child or whoever it is, whatever. It is coming from our fear, our insecurity, our attachment. It is coming from there. It is not coming from true love. True love means you will let the person recover. You will make necessary arrangements, yes. So these are all things that you have to think about, and then implement it in your day-to-day life. That's why I keep saying, as long as you want to be in that comfort zone, you will be comfortable. Physically, you will be comfortable. That's all. Even yesterday, I posted something from Robert Frost. Robert Foster, Einstein. If Einstein says about balance, right? Balancing. If you are on a cycle, unless you keep moving, you cannot maintain the balance. Otherwise, if you stay still, you will fall off. The same thing in life. You have to keep moving. Moving does not mean running around for unnecessary things. No. Moving spiritually. Understanding what is life and moving up. Shashi was asking a question yesterday. And I said, go on. She said, she may have to take attend 3 or 4 classes, 3 or 4 classes of PYS. I said, yeah, you can come. But remember the sandwich joke. If you continue to do the same thing, the results also will be the same thing. You may attend 6 times, you may come to a class. So every year, let me say, if I conduct a class for 1 year, 6 years you may attend. But at the end of the 6th year, your understanding is going to be the same. Because the input has not changed. And so the output is not going to change. So, on that note, let us see a few sutras. So, does it make sense that I'm inviting some questions, some real life issues, or issues which happened some time back, and you need some clarity? Anything. It could be anything. And then I can make it into a question. Don't make me do all the work. And I am not doing it. So if you look at how we have come since last July, I have literally handheld each one of you, and we have covered 3 padas, and which means the most important pieces of information has already been given to you. So in the conclusive chapter, he is not going to say anything radically new. You're only going to use whatever we have studied. So you're all equipped with all the necessary information, knowledge. And that knowledge and information has to become wisdom. And that wisdom I cannot give. That wisdom has to come from there. And for that to happen, you have to be at it. I can make it happen.
Can I ask something?
Yes.
In last lesson, you said that the body is stupid.
Yes.
Now, I found that really amusing because before studying Sanskrit, Patanjali, I was studying Chinese metaphysics. And there, they say that every organ in our body has got function to do, mechanical, whatever, and spiritual too. So every organ has got a spirit or a soul. I don't remember exact word. And for example, if somebody cannot fall asleep, that means that the spirit of the heart went out walking or something like that. It's not there. That's why you can't sleep. So what we can do, those who know, they can, instead of acupuncture, you can use fingers and you can press certain points on the body, and that will hold the spirit of the heart come back when you will sleep. The same if it was a stomach, it means the spirit went out walking from there. So you recall it with acupuncture points or with nadis in England, Sanskrit language. So how I can't fit that into what we are learning from Patanjali when you said body is spirit. Well, I cannot agree with that because the body will heal if the mind is changed and reoriented. For example, I had a hip pain and I was taking painkillers, and my doctor alerted me to a little recording where I am listening to something that a mind speaks to the body, and the pain went within 2 minutes. There was no need for painkillers anymore, whole day. So that
Okay.
means
Let me answer your
body.
question. Let me answer your question. The way to look at is we have the hardware. I have a laptop. Okay. And then there is the software. If I have only the laptop, no software, what is enabling me now to connect with Tatiana? Is it the hardware or the software?
Engineering.
So the
Hardware.
correct answer is that it's a combination of both. Correct? If I just had this hardware with no software, I cannot connect with you. This hardware needs a software to make it do what it needs to do. So what I'm trying to say here is the software is the chitta. It's the boss. Not that the body has no functions. All we are saying is everything is controlled by the chitta. The body cannot do anything on its own, by itself. Some bodily functions it will do, like the heart is pumping. Even that is controlled by chitta. It is breathing automatically. Some things it does on its own. But this thinking, etc., analyzing, all that is not just the body. It is the chitta that is doing that. Anything on the materialistic plane or in the higher spiritual plane, all that we are trying to connect and all that is happening because of the chitta. But without the body, it cannot happen because you need to be sitting in a place. You need a body to do that. So you have to understand the difference. When you say, you talked about acupuncture, anything you touch, the feeling of the finger on my back of the hand is controlled by the chitta. The chitta intervenes. Without that, you're not going to get it. Everywhere it is there. What is going through the nadis? It is the chitta that is going through the nadis, the vibrations. The nadis by itself are only conduits, physical. They are physical in certain areas. They are wireless in certain areas. So when I say stupid, please understand what I'm saying. Don't think that the body has no role at all. Of course, the body has a role. Without this body, how can I be speaking to all of you? So it has that. It is like my mouth is like a speaker. Is speaker intelligent? We have speakers at home. Do we call speaker as a very intelligent thing? We don't, right? So who makes me speak? The chitta makes me speak. And for all these pieces of hardware for hands, legs, eyes, ears, for all the organs, I'm saying, the indriyas. There's driver software, just like we have driver software in laptops, in our electronic devices. All the driver softwares are there. And those are called in whenever needed. And who provides all that? The chitta with its connectivity to zone B is getting all that whenever needed, without us knowing anything. The physical eyes by itself can only receive the light. That's all it can do. It cannot do anything further than that. It cannot make us understand, oh, I've seen a tree. No. There the chitta has to come. So it is in that aspect, it is in that context I said the body is stupid. You don't like the word stupid, please ignore it. Or you can say it is not as smart as the chitta. You can use that word. Are we friends, Tatiana?
I forgot all the. I have to go back to the beginning. Thank you.
Sure. So any other question? Okay, let's see a few sutras to give you a taste of what we are going to see in Kaivalya Pada. Two comments here. Let me see what the detachment is much clear today. Oh, great, Sashi. Currently, okay, all right.
So the difference in terminology.
Okay, so on to chapter 4, Kaivalya Pada.
Built a list.
Mhm.
I built a list.
Okay,
I can share.
this sutra we saw some time back. I had probably published it in our group for Tatiana. I published this.
Let's see.
So,
Typical
Janma
situations.
Aushadhi Mantra Tapaha Samadhi Jaha Siddhaya. Janma Aushadhi Mantra Tapaha Samadhi Jaha Siddhaya. So he's saying Siddha, the Siddhis. How can this? What are all the causes by which Siddhis occur?
Samadhi Jaha Siddhaya.
So the Siddhis come via birth. That is, if we have enough
Terms.
at the time of birth itself, we may be sent with those siddhis. It may click in right then, or it may click in later on. It may get triggered later on. That is by birth. So by birth means based on our karma and the cosmic flow, what is needed, it is given at the time of birth. Aushadhi is herbs or drugs. So that's why I sent you I posted something on cannabis, whatever, couple of days back, of how drugs can blur the memory. And they had indicated a few different things, how once the person takes the drugs, and I don't know how quickly they measure all these things, they find that the person is not able to retrieve certain information, not able to put together certain information. They also add unnecessary information. And it's quite a bit from a person who has not taken it. So that's why at the end of the article it says it's very difficult a person who is on drugs, if they are the only witness, to take their word as at face value. So Aushadhi. So means drugs can also take you to certain states. It can be temporary. It can cause other issues. So please understand that Patanjali is not recommending that one should take drugs. He's saying it can occur through drugs also. And we also know in the Himalayan region in India, many of these ascetics, they go there and grow this opium and things like that. They take all this and then they say they got that state, this state. So that is also there. So that's why he has put it out here. One can get through that. Mantra, you can chant mantras, vibrations of a specific type, and you can get connected. We know that. Tapas is again yes, similar to mantra, but it is for burning away all our impurities. As we burn away our impurities, that is the kleshas and karma and all that. As we become purer and purer, as the this bag of impurities becomes purer and purer, the siddhis may come. That's what we saw in chapter 3 also, how the siddhis come to certain people. Samadhi, in the state of samadhi, that gives connectivity with God, and hence you have the necessary, that is a siddhi by itself. So Jaha means born. So it's saying siddhis are created by birth, medication,
Atmanadi.
drugs, mantra, tapas,
What
and
is na?
samadhi. Any questions? So here he says in the comment, siddhis are programs lodged in the Atmanadi. Their function is related to the innate knowledge base of the being and the cosmic connectivity. The innate knowledge base, which is deep-seated in, that's what we said, the innate knowledge, the vidya. We said it's in the Hridaye Chitta Samvit. We saw a sutra. Hridaye Chitta Samvit. So it is in the Hridaya Chakra. That's where right behind the sternum. We said it is right there. So their function is related to the innate knowledge of the base being, knowledge base of the being and the cosmic connectivity. The innate knowledge base, which is deep-seated, which is the deep-seated memory, determines the level of siddhis, while the cosmic connectivity provides the proper environment for proper application, for correct application, while the Atmanadi acts as the triggering program and processing circuitry, all that. Okay, so that is why it is necessary people who have siddhis to use it. That is why he says the proper environment for correct applications, for correct application. So it may be used properly, not for, when you say correct application, adharmic activity. That is why when somebody uses this for adharmic activities, in their next birth, they are going to be born with, it could be that they have autism. So that's a reason for autism. One of the reasons. Okay, so let's move on to the next sutra.
But actually, the suffering is for the parents
So
more than the child.
when we get attached to a child, then it is very difficult for us to accept if the child has autism, to accept that, and we will always constantly say, this is such a small child, what wrong it has done. So it goes back to the previous birth or births. We don't know anything about that and we comment. So we have to do the proper research, proper understanding must come to us. That is why these sutras are there. Jati antara parinamaha prakriti apurat. Apurat. Jati antara parinamaha prakriti apurat. Let us see. Jati is birth, race or birth, species, etc. So, jati antara. Antara is differences. So, differences in birth qualities, race, species, etc. Parinamaha. Parinamaha means we know that parinama, that word means result. And prakriti apurat. Prakriti filling in or prakriti flowing into. So, in summary, it says the differences in birth, that is race, species, etc., are the result of the flow or filling in of prakriti or program of nature. What does it mean? That is, once upon death, let us say upon death, and I become disembodied, and let us say I still have this klesha karma, mainly the karma part, I have to be reborn. And it fruitions. And it fruitions, I'm ready to be reborn. And I have to be born in a family which is matching my karma. So Prakriti at that point of time is going to facilitate, is going to fill in, is going to facilitate where I should go. Everything is ready, and she is going to, based on where that couple are available for, couple which has the same type of karma, etc., matching karma, where I would go, that is facilitated by Prakriti. She does not do anything else. So the difference are the result of the flow. Based on the cosmic flow, Prakriti is just helping us. Any question? Okay. Next sutra. Nimittam aprayojakam prakritinam varnabedastu tatah kshatrikhavat. Nimittam aprayojakam prakritinam varnabedastu tatah kshatrikhavat. What does it mean? Kshatrikhavat means a farmer. So Kshatrikhavat means a farmer who works in the fields. Nimittam. We'll go back to the first word. Nimittam means incidental or a mere instrument or following higher orders. Aprayojakam. One who does not cause, not useful, mere facilitator. Prayojakam, aprayojakam. Aprayojakam means they don't, I mean, in the sense that they don't cause any hindrance. So they're mainly just there to do some minor adjustments, that's all, mere facilitator. Prakriti naam, Prakriti as object, Varna is barriers, the demarcate fields and channels. So if you take a field, you have all these bunds, right, which demarcate various, even within one's own field, a part of it could be for growing. Please mute your microphone before start, please. Um, so if you have these bunds in the field, one area could be for growing mustard, the other could be for corn, the other could be for paddy, things like that. So that's what we are meaning here. Barriers that demarcate fields, not only within the field, also it acts as a barrier to say, this is my area of the field, this is your area of the field. And channels, small levees or dividers of fields, etc. So that's what we are calling as varna. Vedastu, when they are broken or opened. So these channels are broken or open to make water flow from the main canal. So that's what it's saying. Tataha, from that, Kshetrikavat, caretaker of the fields, the farmer. So only an incidental facilitator is Prakriti. Just like a farmer who opens the flow barrier of the irrigation channel that conveys waters to the right fields. Here, only an incidental facilitator is Prakriti, meaning she is doing it based on higher orders. Where is the higher order coming from? Anyone?
Ishvara.
Ishvara has already given the order. So based on that order, Prakriti is facilitating this, where this chitta should go. And maybe she will let a few chittas go here, few chittas there, depending on the requirement, depending on the availability of couples, etc. So I'm going to stop here. These three sutras tell us Prakriti is just a messenger, is just a manager, not creator of the cosmic program. So let's read this. Sutras 2 and 3 introduce Prakriti. Prior to this sutra, the only usage of the word Prakriti is in Sutra 19 in chapter 1, where one's merger into Prakriti without a body as a result of strong conviction is noted. I don't know how many of you remember that sutra. It is a sutra that comes after the sutra on prajna, samprajna state. He said, Vitarka vichara ananda asmita anugama samprajnataha. So how you get into the higher state in Sutra 17. In Sutra 18 it says, Virama pratyaya abhyasa purvaha sanskara seshaha anya. Before we have all this abhyasa, and before we do this dharana, dhyana and all that, we have a lot of sanskara seshaha. Seshaha means balance, that which is left out, all the sanskaras are there. Being in that state is different. Then he follows with one more sutra, says, Virama pratyaya abhyasa purvaha sanskara seshaha anyaha bhava pratyayo videha prakriti layana. Bhava pratyayo videha prakriti layana. So here he says, if you are connected with the soul, with the disembodied being, bhava pratyayo, videha prakriti. Deha, videha. Deha is this physical mortal body. Videha is special body, that is disembodied, sukshma sharira. So somebody who is an elevated soul who is no longer in an embodied state, and if you are doing your dharana dhyana with that person in mind, then you will only get to the state of vidya of that person. That's where we used Prakriti. That's why Sutra 19 was that. Videha Prakriti Layam. Bhava Pratyayo Videha Prakriti Layana. So he says in Sutra, where one's merger into Prakriti without a body as a result of strong convictions is noted. Okay. Sutra 349 refers to Pradhana, or the chief. In the last chapter we saw that. Actually, the chief instrument or master program as noted in the sutra, all that. While Sutra 119 does not give much insight into Prakriti, and 349 only refers to the master program without using the name Prakriti, we said Pradhana Jayaha Cha. That's what we said in 349. Pradhana Jayaha Cha. That is, I can even conquer the Pradhana, the chief of creation. The chief of creation is Prakriti. So I can get that kind of that kind of powers. That's what we saw in that sutra. So, whereas here, while Sutra 119 does not give much insight into Prakriti, and 349 only refers to the master program without using the name Prakriti, Sutras 4.2 and 4.3 provide the necessary introduction and link it with Pradhana. Pradhana based on the characteristics of the chief program. So Prakriti in itself means integral creation or creation that is connected to the highest source. The prefix pra connotes the integral or essence aspect. The word kriti means composition or what is created. For the Sutras 125 states that God is the source of all knowledge. Sutras 129 states the Chetana, the awareness that allows AI, comes from God. Based on these statements, it is reasonable to conclude that God has given the ability for Prakriti to do its job. It is reasonable to understand that Prakriti is really energy. Energy in a compressed form is matter, understood by Einstein's equation of energy, which is equal to mass of matter times the square of the speed of light. All that we okay. Imprint of energy on matter is a program file which runs its program rules when energy is supplied. Thus, Prakriti is everything we see in all of cosmos. But the one who controls the remote switch to turn it on and off is God Ishvara. Personally, Yoga Sutras don't give any clarity on where the energy came from to begin all this, but it is adequately clear that God is the controller of the energy, whether God made it or not. Sutras 4.2 introduce Prakriti as only an instrument of God that allows all of creation to flow in a certain way, which evolved yogis can access. As explained in chapter 2, the impurities of Praklesha, which include the karma patterns, are the input or subprograms of Prakriti being processed according to Prakriti's rules. Another name of Prakriti, as noted earlier in the master program of creation created by God, is the Prakriti or master program of creation, either name. However, in other Indian philosophy, the same force is called Shakti or Parashakti or the Divine Mother, where God beyond is the Divine Father. People with siddhis to access different modules of Prakriti have limited siddhis, but one who has access to all aspects of Prakriti has all the siddhis, knows everything and can do anything. That is, innate knowledge base is complete. And each module and submodule within Prakriti is also sometimes called a Deva, which is only a bundle of vibration impulses that control the environment. Such understanding gives insight into 1.19, the idea of merging into Prakriti, and the idea of siddhis coming from Samyama noted in most of chapter 3, and the highest control of Prakriti in Sutra 49. So that's where we stop. So Sutra 49, maybe we can take a look at that. Let me see how many probably remember.
Did you understand?
Okay. So this is Sutra Pandam. Tato Manojavitvam Vikarna Bhavaha Pradhana Jayahacha. That's what we saw. So here in summary we said the perception beyond the instrument allows one to move at the speed of the mind and conquer the chief as well. Meaning, you can do things which the chief does. That's why we here this reference is indirect. Pradhana Jayahacha. The chief here refers to Prakriti. I'm going to stop here. Any questions before I come out of this document?
Could be that I understand that we have 30% of power to change our fate. That is the explanation, that we can control the heat with Prakriti. Therefore, we can practice our faith when we are born. Or
See,
later.
it is not that we can see, that is the problem. The moment we say we can control, it is Abhinivesha. We can only put a request. We can only put a request.
Yes, but we can put request and start working on it by improving ourselves.
Yes. Even that working on it, I'm saying, is based on Ishvara's grace. That's all I'm saying. The more you see in every activity that Ishvara is behind me, it is Ishvara's grace that is driving me. Instead of saying, oh, I have made this effort. Even as I try to make a cup of coffee, if I say that, okay, even for me to move my arm, it is Ishvara's grace. If that kind of understanding comes in, it's very, very easy to let go of all this I did it. The Sutra 23 says that, right? Two sutras I gave yesterday, 22 and 21. Kritartham pratinashtam api anashtam anya sadharanatvat. That is one sutra, where everything that we do, we are looking at, it's a transaction. What will I get out of this? Will it be, obviously I want profit. If it is not going to give me profit, it could be a tangible profit or intangible benefit. Something I must get. That is tangible benefit. I'm saying I must get money, I must get property, I might get this, that. Intangible benefit, oh, everyone will say, oh, Kumar, you are the greatest. You are the best. Here is a trophy for you. Or here we will garland you. Or here we will do this for you. So some intangible benefit. So that's what he says in that sutra. When the desires, although the desire is indirect, it's not hidden. It's hidden. It's not said in those words there. Kritartham, whatever we do, in whatever activities we are doing, Kritartham, prati nashtam api anashtam. Where we are calculating, is it nashtam? Is it going to be a loss? Or is it going to be anashtam? Is it going to be a profitable venture? Who does this? Anya sadharana. Tad anya sadharanatva. Only normal, common people will do that. Not a person on the spiritual path. Not a person who is going to evolve. He will never think like that. He will always see. He will always see what is beneficial to humanity. That's all he will see. He will not see what is beneficial to him. That is one sutra. The second sutra is Swaswami Shaktiyoho Swarupa Upalabdhi Hetuhu Sanyogaha. Because of this association, we think that we are the doers. What association? The association that if I put in all this effort, then I will make $1 million. If there are 10 people, if all 10 people put the same amount of energy and effort, do you think all 10 people make $1 million? Don't. They don't. There is something more than that. There is the grace of the cosmos that has to flow. But that does not mean that you have to sit at home and sleep. No. You have to put the effort. But put that effort in such a way, understanding that for this to fructify, it has to be the divine's will. It has to be the divine's will.
We call it law of equivalent exchange. It's you also have to put some effort.
Exactly.
You may
Exactly.
get it, but if you don't
Exactly.
put effort, you get nothing. So equivalent.
So this, I'm saying this effort has to be guided by a higher cause. That's all I'm saying. Otherwise, it will be a wasted effort or an effort with lots of stress. What is the stress? You have seen this. Stress is that fear. Will I get it? Will I get it? Will it happen? Will this fructify? That is the stress. So I have brought those two sutras back so that for all of you to understand that why did I put the desire in bold letters? It's simply for that reason. Is there any Padma? You have to answer this question. And Madhavi too. And all of you. All those whom I named. Is there any benefit for Kumar by memorizing the sutras? Is there any tangible benefit for me? Am I going to get money? Madhavi?
No, sir.
No. Is it going to make people happy? Is it going to fill the stomach of people? Nothing.
Word in different currencies.
Huh?
Word in different currencies. This is satisfaction. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. So that's why this desire is for the sake of humanity. Suddenly it came, this desire. Is that mine? I don't even think it was my desire. I didn't even think it was my desire. It just suddenly occurred, and then I started memorizing the sutras, and the grace has flown so that I can memorize them. So when you see all this in this context, then you will see that this is not a normal desire that one has. There's a difference. Why is Prime Minister Modi running at the age of what, 75, 76? I mean, he doesn't take a single day of rest. Not a single day of rest in the last, I mean, many years, at least since he became a Prime Minister, from 2014 till to 2026, not a single day of rest. Not a single day he has fallen sick. Now, have you ever seen him take a day that he has there ever been a news item saying that Prime Minister Modi is having fever, is indisposed? I have not seen it in the last 12 years. That only a yogi can do. In the sense, I'm using this word yogi here to say a person who is interested only in the welfare of his countrymen and humanity in general. Only those people can remain like that. And he works long hours. I think he works at least 18, 19 hours a day. 18, 19 hours a day, every day, 365 days a year. And at least in the last 12 years, we have known. And he has been doing this since he was maybe 14, 15, something like that. He has been working like this. Ever since he dedicated his life to the cause of the country, he has been doing this. And there are many in the in the RSS and the BJP party who have dedicated, especially in RSS, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, which is a banned organization in USA. So many in that have dedicated. I know a few. I know a few means I have met. I don't know them. I don't have any personal contact. They have dedicated their lives. But not everyone can do that. And it's not for everyone. Just like Adi Shankara became a monk at the age of 7. So these kinds of things are for certain people based on their samskara. How are they able to live? These people, whoever has dedicated their life for the country, especially in RSS, they travel a lot. They travel almost on a daily basis, and they don't stay in 5-star hotels. They stay in people's homes. They might stay today in a one-bedroom host, one-bedroom apartment of a host. The next day it may be in a palace. The fourth day in a 5,000 square feet home. And on the seventh day they may be staying in a hut. They don't complain of anything. And whatever is offered to them, they will eat. Yes, sir, Saranya.
Yeah. For example, I tried being, I don't know how to say that. I understand how detachment works. So I try to detach myself on basic things like food, on my appearance. So I I try to eat. I am very addicted to spicy food and sweets. I had a break from that, and then what happened to me is initially 1 month, 45 days it was okay, but after that I started longing for it, and I shaved my head 3 years ago because I wanted to accept everything as it is, accept myself. I um, I wanted to feel that in whatever form I am, I have to accept myself completely, and that is the reason I did all that. And what happened to me, even though I have detachment to my son or everything, I try to experience that way. What happened is it it became like an uncontrollable thing to me that I was not in control of those things of how what I should eat and to be attached to the people I have to. It kind of made me uncontrollable. So what I feel is, should I give that my soul is longing for something, so should I give everything until it settles down, and then I should proceed to detachment? And if I don't know if you understood my question.
Yeah, understood. I understood very clearly. The confused one is you. So this is a question to many people who step into the spiritual arena. This is a question to many. And the shaving of the head, etc., it's done in many of these monasteries, not as a disfigurement, but more as something as a convenience. Supposing you have a long hair of 3 or 4 feet, it needs maintenance on a daily basis, or at least 3 or 4 times a day. You have to remove the sticky hair and all that. And if you're going to be focused on that, how are you going to do the sadhana if you're in a monastery? I'm saying. So that is why they shave the hair. That is one part. The second part is all the men and women in that monastery, they look alike. Everybody has a shaven head. But that alone, and a few other things that you mentioned, is not going to bring detachment. Detachment comes from inside. For detachment, there has to be tremendous understanding.
If I have a deep understanding, I am trying to implement that through these experiences where you said food is also one of the attachment, right? So I started from there. But what I'm seeing is, you're saying about serving other people. So first, I'm seeing that if I am fulfilled by myself, if I am like if I'm fulfilling this soul, I'm taking responsibility of this soul, then I think even before I go and I try to serve other people. I have volunteered for years, but I'm seeing that something is not all right with this. So first, I need to attend that, and what is not
That is
going
what I
on.
said, Saranya. I fully understand your question. It's not that I don't understand your question. I fully understand your question. That is why we have 4 stages in life. That is Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. Have you heard of this? Yes. So, for Adi Shankara, at the age of 7, he became a sannyas, which means he, from Brahmacharya, he jumped two stages. He didn't go through Grahastha, he didn't go through Vanaprastha, straight he went to sannyasa. So did who? Ramana Maharishi. He also at the age of 16, he went straight from there to sannyasa. No Grahastha, no Vanaprastha. So this is similarly, these people in RSS, I'm taking this as an example because I've seen them, I'm telling you this. For them, it is a kind of sannyasa that they have taken. Take Prime Minister Modi, he did that at a very young age. So his marriage was not even consummated. He got married because of pressure from his parents. So he got married. The very next day, on that night itself, he told his wife, "See, my path is different. Unfortunately, this has happened. So I am letting you free. I didn't have whatever he told her, I don't know. But the very next day he left and never returned to the marital life. And his wife also has not spoken anything ill about him till today. So many like that in RSS have done this. Why have they done that? That is the samskara. That is the samskara. Why didn't S.M. Kumar do this at the age of 16 or 17 or 18 or 20? Or Subramanian Kumar, why didn't he do it? Because that is not Subramanian Kumar samskara. Subramanian Kumar samskara had this samskara, this chitta had to go through all its desires, materialistic desires, and go through the ringer of life. That's what we call ringer of life. How the tuniya puriyaron, how the wet cloth is ringed. So we have to go through that. And then suddenly at the age of 41, Subramanian Kumar had an awakening. Because of all that he went through, all that ringing he went through, he had an awakening at the age of 41. Today he is 73. 32 years he has gone through, he has been in this path. And it did not come easily. Little by little it has come. Am I making sense to you, Saranya? You have to go through what you have to go through. Just because somebody has become a monk, you cannot become a monk. But even as you remain in this, even as one remains in the grahastha life, one can be dharmic. One can live in a very aesthetic way. Those are the things which are taught, which were taught in the Gurukula those days in India. From the age of 7 until 18, all the children will attend the Gurukula. There they will put all these things in front of them. And some may become monk. And some may do something else. And many of them at the age of 18, they will come back and get married and have a family. But they will lead a dharmic, aesthetic life. Aesthetic life means one devoid of all this masala. Okay? All these gaudy things that people do in life. But if you ask Subramanian Kumar, did you do gaudy things? No, yes, I did. Because I didn't have any Gurukulam tutelage. So I did. So the path is not the same for everyone. To understand that, and you have to become, you have to be at peace with what is your path. Just because X is doing this, I cannot do it. See, when I'm teaching this course on Patanjali Yoga Sutra, I certainly use all the material that Dr. Rajan has provided, Life in Yoga has provided. I'm very, very extremely thankful to that. But the way I conduct the course is completely different from the way Dr. Rajan does the course. Completely different. So I have my own way of doing it. When I say I have my own way, be very, very clear. When I say my own way, it is the direction from above. Not S.M. Kumar not a Subramanian Kumar sat and wrote, these are the steps that I know. And even if I had written those steps, it came from there. If there is some change, if there is some information that is flowing through, which is catching you, please understand that is coming from above. Subramanian Kumar is a mere speaker, no intelligence speaker.
So should I understand this way that even though I have the understanding and have the difficulty of implementing it, then my karma is so strong that I am unable to implement it and accept it, that this is how I am right now?
Is it not the truth? We have talked about karma for so long. All the time I say is accept your karma. Don't go overboard on certain things. Have moderation in life. That is for everyone. Have moderation in life. Don't go overboard. But karma this is the karma. So how can you run away from your karma? You can't run away from your karma. The many, I won't say many, a few, some take sannyasa to run away, to escape. Do you think they will ever find happiness in what they are doing? Will they ever find connectivity? Not a chance. Chance. If sannyasa is an escape activity, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. That's why in most of these missionaries in India, some people go there very young, 15, 16, 13, 14, whatever, and say, oh, I am greatly impressed by Swami Vivekananda's work. I'm so impressed with Ramakrishna's work. I'm so impressed with Swami Chinmayananda's work. And they become part of that monastery. And do you know what type of work they are assigned to them? This could be in Isha Yoga too. You have to wash plates. You have to cook food. You have to trim the leaves of the you have to trim the branches of trees. You have to sweep the courtyard of all the dry leaves. Keep the paint, whitewash, whatever is needed. It's not going there and sleeping. There's a lot of physical work that they will give you. And then, based on the person's interest, the person at one point will say, is this all that I will be doing? And at that day, they will say, okay, come. What do you want? Then that person will say, no, I need some teaching. I came here for some spiritual upliftment. So then they will start giving some teaching. And they ask them to do, okay, now go. Every morning do this practice for half an hour or 1 hour. But still you have all these other things that you have to do. And then after 3 months or 6 months, they will come again and say, oh, this is not enough for me. I've done this sadhana. I understood these things. Now I want to grow. So every time they go and ask for growth, something more will be given and some work, this physical work will be taken away from. That is how they grow. Some don't grow spiritually at all. They just stay there, washing clothes, washing vessels. Nothing wrong. That is their samskara. Understand this. That is the samskara. So if your samskara is to remain in the grihastha ashrama, you have to accept that. You cannot fight. That is stupidity. Fighting karma is stupidity. You will never win. Nobody can win. Vidhi valiyadu. Fate is very, very strong. You can't break it. You have to accept it. Move along and move on. Did it make sense, Saranya?
You're saying there is no way to break it, so it's not avidya and samskara is different.
No, some avidya is part of the sanskara.
If more vidya is put into that samskara, can we break it or no?
Why do you want to break karma? That is my question. Makes no sense.
Because that's the suffering right now, right?
That is
Whenever
because you are not accepting karma. If you accept karma, there is no suffering.
even though I accept it, I
No,
am
you're not. You're not. If you accept, there is no suffering. I told you, I gave you an example from my life. What happened in 2020, 2019, 2020. I give you an example. From there, it was a quantum jump for me. That acceptance became a huge jump for me spiritually, emotionally, personally, in every plane. It was a huge jump.
no. I'll put it like this. If I'm accepting that detachment makes me free, and if I'm unable to do it because of my sanskara,
No, Saranya, you're not understanding what I'm saying. You're not understanding what I'm saying. Detachment does not mean going away or running away from somewhere. That is not detachment. Detachment is not indifference. I am married. I'm married. I'm married to my wife. I'm still detached from her. I have 2 children. I love them. I'm detached from them. I have three grandchildren. I love them, but I'm detached from them. So, first of all, you have to understand what is detachment. You have not understood. I said always use the word moderation along with detachment. I don't go overboard and fall on my grandchildren. No, I don't do that with my children. I don't do that with my friends. I don't do that with my wife. But I also did that, going overboard with my wife in the initial stages of my life until that understanding comes. Because when you go overboard, there is that because of no detachment, there is tremendous amount of expectation in everything. Oh, if you drink coffee, it has to be exact like how I drink coffee. If you drink tea, it has to be exactly like how I drink tea. If you make this sambar, it has to be exactly like how I like sambar. Many times in the last 10, 15 years, we will some program, something, some commitment, we will go and I will dress up and come and she look at me. Kumar, no, this shirt is no good. Go and change it. Then I'll tell her, please tell me you know all the shirts that I have. Please tell me which one I should wear. I'll go change and come on. I don't question. She will say, oh, this is the same thing that you wore 2 weeks back when we went out. Don't wear that shirt. Wear this shirt. And then it is not matching with it. See, I was also once upon a time very fastidious. Good dress. It went away. Now I wear clean clothes. Yes. I don't wear dirty clothes. I wear clean clothes. So I was talking to somebody and I never tell my wife when we are about to leave, oh, that jewelry that you're wearing is very chunky, go and change. I know that. I mean, I don't even make that observation, first of all. I don't say, oh, this sari is too heavy or too rich. Wear a simpler one. I don't say any of those things. Oh, the lipstick, this color is too bright. Go and change. No, I don't say that. The makeup is too heavy. I don't say that. Why are you dyeing your hair? And I am bald and fully gray. I don't say that. None of those things. But she has certain things to tell me. I just accept it. I never ask, why are you telling? I don't tell you anything. Why are you? No, none of those questions. That is detachment, acceptance. So we are almost 9 o'clock. Any other question before we move on? I didn't do a sutra by sutra review of this chapter. So that's why I left it kind of open for you, for all of you to come back and tell me what you want, and then I would have gone through all the sutras. But as always, we have good things to discuss, exciting things to discuss.
What you said now, in England, we call it two magic words. Yes, dear.
Yes, dear.
Yes, dear. My husband is practicing it, and it's wonderful.
See,
Dear,
when you are
smiling just like
actually
a-
this is it's very easy when you accept, when you understand, before you even accept, when you understand, I am a chitta. She is also a chitta. Both pure chittas, correct? The chittas are pure. Absolutely pure. Just like all of you. Absolutely pure. What's the difference? The sanskaras are the difference. Can I change that sanskara? Yogeshwaran, can I change the samskara of somebody else?
No.
No. But why do you keep trying to change the samskara of your mother? Isn't that stupidity?
Yeah.
Do you understand that foolishness?
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is what
So
we
they-
do all through our life, right from the time we have
Trying to change
understood.
somebody else.
Hmm?
We cannot change anybody, yet we keep trying.
That is foolishness.
Okay.
Trying is foolishness. What we should do is change ourselves.
Mm.
That is the only thing that we can do.
Mm.
Since we are so stupid, we don't want to change ourselves, we try to change others. It comes from that stupidity, and that stupidity comes from our kleshas, our samskaras, our idiocy. You get that?
Yeah.
You are on the throes of getting married, so it's very, very important
Okay.
not to try to change anybody in any way.
Mm-hmm.
No one is going to change. And even if they change, it's going to be temporary. And even during that temporary period, it is going to be with a lot of pain that they will do it, not with understanding and happiness.
Yeah, I've noticed that with a lot of people, friends, relatives, distant people. I've seen that nobody has changed.
Well, you think about it.
Yeah.
Supposing, I like to do something early in the morning, like, I like to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I am
Yeah.
forced to, in my house, let us say, no. At 6 o'clock, we don't want any noise. It has to be quiet because we all like to sleep until 8 in the morning. So even if you wake up, just be in the bed. Don't even get up because we hear the footsteps. It disturbs us. So I have to be in the
Yeah.
bed for 2 hours. Correct? Would I like
Yeah.
it? Would I like it?
No.
Huh.
No.
Why? See, when something is not acceptable to me, why would it be acceptable to somebody else? My requirement? We have to think. We are not thinking.
Mm.
I mean, your mother likes to keep things in a certain way. You want to keep it in a different way. You can tell her that this is how you should keep it. No. I mean, you can have a discussion, you have a friendly discussion. She may take it, she may accept it, or she may not accept it. So, if she doesn't accept it, you have to accept that that's how she's going to be.
Mm.
And if that is unacceptable to you, then you leave the house. You go and stay somewhere else where you can be the way you want to be. You can put all your clothes on the floor, you can put it on the table, or keep it very well organized, whatever your style of living.
Right.
That is how we have all moved away from a nuclear family to individual families. I mean, from a joint family to all these small, tiny nuclear families it has become. Because we cannot tolerate each other, we cannot accept each other's. Because if you are living in a joint family where 20 or 25 people lived once upon a time in a household, how much of understanding has to be there? How much of understanding has to be? Tremendous amount of understanding and acceptance has to be there to be live like that.
Yeah.
Today I want to have, say, I want to have masala dosa, but today at home, the chief in the house, maybe the eldest daughter-in-law decides today it is only pakoda, whatever. Everybody only gets pakoda, no masala dosa. If that acceptance is not there, then you'll say, oh. Then they'll say, okay, if you don't want this pakoda dish, starve. No snacks. And the day they really make masala dosa, you may not want to eat masala dosa, you may want to eat something else. Acceptance.
Okay.
And that's why we all run to the restaurant where we can go and eat whatever we want. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Whereas in a house, it's a fixed menu. And generally there is not much of choice. Hardly any choice. Right? There's hardly any choice. Either there is only one vegetable, there is only one rice, there is only one sambar, and there is yogurt. So if you don't like any of those things, you have to eat the yogurt and leave.
Well, today I had a vadapu vadai, so I was happy.
Fantastic. So tomorrow she will make a burnt toast. Don't complain. Accept that also. That also is coming from love.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't complain. If you cannot eat, tell her it's burnt, I cannot eat it. Don't yell or shout or find fault with her. Go to the restaurant and eat. That's all I'm saying. Acceptance. Acceptance. Don't say, oh, don't you know how to toast the bread? Why did you put it at such a high temperature for such a long time? It just happened. She was distracted. Oh, no. Same thing you did last week also. 3 days back also you did. How is it going to help? Okay, sure, it's not going to help. That's how my mom is. The only thing you can do is, no, mom, please, you don't toast the bread. I will toast it myself. Or I will eat outside. You can do that. Even if you say that, she may still toast it and it could be a burnt toast. It could be, yeah, accept it, okay. Either you can eat it or you can just give it to, throw it to the birds. So, acceptance. And from that comes detachment. And from detachment comes more acceptance. And from that more acceptance comes more detachment. It's a nice, beautiful, vicious cycle. Very pleasant cycle.
Okay.
So on that note, let's close here. Any other quick question before I close?
eating out is not acceptance. Acceptance is eating what you get on the table.
Yeah, but sometimes, that is true. But if you cannot eat, at least don't abuse. That's all I'm saying.
Mm.
Yeah, what you say is 100% acceptance. I have an example for that. So my this long back 40 years, within a few months after we got married, there was a small function at home called Smerini. A celebration was there. We had a puja rather. And that was the first time my wife was doing it all by herself, just the two of us. And I think for some, so she did whatever needed to be done, and she made some food to eat. And she said, "First you sit and eat, and then I will eat." I said, "Okay." She served food for me, and then she made something. There's something called vada. It's like a donut, but not sweet. It's a savory. So she made that, and before serving it, she said, "Kumar, I know it has not come out very good. The shape is not okay, and also the texture is not okay, but don't complain. I know you like vada very much, but this is not going to be what you think it is going to be." So I ate it, thinking all the time what she said. So I
Yeah.
did not complain. I said nothing. And at the end, she said, "Oh, good. You ate that without complaint. Very good. Nice. Thank you." And then she said, "Now you should at least thank me for the effort that I put in to make that dish. Whether you liked it or not, I put in the effort." Anyway, that's when it got ugly. So I will stop there. It took me another 10 years to understand that, and then give credit for that also.
Oh.
Anyway, okay, people. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you,
We will
sir.
meet
Namaste.
tomorrow, Yogeshwaran. 10. Not good for you.
No, tomorrow won't work. Let's
Tomorrow
postpone
not
it.
good for you. You want to
Yeah,
meet
next.
only today?
No, yeah, we can do today or we'll do next week.
Okay. Then we'll see. I'll see you in another 45 minutes. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Well,
Thank you.
bye
Yeah.
everyone.
Thank you. Namaste, sir.